Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Empowered with Gina. Okay, you want to talk about a baddie? You want to talk about somebody who runs things? Like literally is running the sports world. Miss Alexis Ramos, co-president of 16 Sports, is here with me today. And we're going to talk all about her start and where she is and what is on the horizon for her. And I have a new bestie. Hi.
Hello.
How are you, friend?
Good. How are you?
So good. And we're neighbors.
Yeah. Super close.
And first, shout out to Ray Brown,
Yes.
who is responsible for this.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Shout out to Ray.
He aligns the stars.
He does.
Clear.
He really is. He is part of all the alignment, which I'll get into, but yeah.
I know, the Ray Brown method. So Ray,
Yes.
shout out. We love you. Mwah. Okay,
Yes.
Alexis, let's first talk about you. 3 adjectives to describe yourself.
Oh,
I know, no wrong answer.
I know, right? I would say discipline, courageous, and loving.
Oh, good.
I'd say those
Nobody's
3.
ever used loving before.
Oh,
Good. I like
Yeah.
that. It's always about the love. Where did you grow up? Who was the young Alexis?
So I grew up down in San Diego. So I'm from East County, San Diego. So I call it the real San Diego.
Okay.
But yeah, I grew up in San Diego. My dad's from the East Coast, from the Bronx. My mom's actually from El Centro, which is east of San Diego. So yeah, that's where I was born and raised.
So how long were you there? Like how much of your life?
All my life, actually. So I actually ended up staying home for college because we couldn't afford to send me off.
Oh.
So I ended up going to San Diego State. So I was in San Diego all the way up until I was about 20. I was about to turn 22.
Okay.
And then that's when I took on my career, and my career took me out of San Diego.
Unbelievable. Growing up as an elementary school student, was academics pushed in your family?
Yes. I think in the Hispanic culture, at least in my household, it was like your one way out ticket is education. So you're going to go to school, you're going to get good grades, you're going to go to college, and then from there, that is your ticket into the real world.
Were your parents educated?
Yes. So my dad got his bachelor's. My mom got her associates. And my dad got his bachelor's. He was in the Navy. And then from the Navy, he got a great opportunity with Univision. Actually, he's the chief engineer for Univision Radio and television. And so through there, he got his bachelor's. So it was really pushed of like, you need to go to school. You need to do it the right way. You know, both of them did it more of the non-traditional way. Like I said, my mom got her associates and then got straight into the corporate world. And then my dad didn't get his bachelor's until getting into the corporate world. He did it the right way where he got it all paid, but through the Navy and like through his position. But it was highly, highly pushed for us.
Okay, so education was a must.
Mm-hmm.
You go to college because that's obviously what you're going to do. There's no option to not.
There is no option. Yeah.
So you're now co-president of the sports empire.
Yes.
But was sports something very much of a part of your life growing up?
Yeah. So it started out really pretty early. It's a funny story, actually. I haven't told this story out. But I used to be the sorry child. So every time I used to be like, oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. And my mom, I was going into kindergarten. She's like, you don't have to say sorry about everything. She's like, I'm going to put you in sports because you need to get tougher. And I was like, okay. So little did she know I was going to fall in love with soccer. So I ended up loving soccer, played competitively club by second grade. And then I went all the way to premier, and it was like my love. But that's initially me getting into sports was for her to toughen me up. And we had made a bet when I was in kindergarten, because every time I would score, I'd tell the goalie I was sorry. So it was like, so she was like, if you don't say sorry, that's how I got my allowance. She was like, I will give you $5 for every goal you score and you don't say sorry.
Whoa.
But when you score and you say sorry, you owe me $5. So that was the start of my sports
Mom.
career.
Wow. And little did we know that you were a sports phenom.
Yeah.
You were good at it.
No. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did you follow that through into high school? Or?
Yeah. So I played all the way up until my freshman year of high school. And then I feel like as everyone gets, you're like, okay, I want to try something different. That's what I've realized in my career. I've always, when I'm done getting fed somewhere, I'm like, okay, there's more to go out and seek. And so little did I know back then, I was like, I think I can do a lot of other sports. And so my freshman year, I ended up getting 5 different varsity letters throughout my entire high school. I played almost every sport in high school because I just wanted to try it. I was like, I just want to say I did it and did it at a high level.
And you excelled.
Yeah. And I was like, Mom, if I don't get a varsity letter, then I have to keep trying until I do. So I was able to grateful to be able to play all the sports, played basketball, played volleyball, ran track, did cross country, played softball. And I really loved track. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I was hopeful. I was like, okay, maybe I'll, find a opportunity in college to do. I did have a position because I had played so long in soccer to play soccer at a higher level, but it wasn't a full ride. And so lo and behold, track also wasn't. It was a walk-on. So I was like, okay, what do I do? And that leads me into my collegiate career where I rode, which is completely different.
That's like on a boat.
Yes. Yes, I rode.
That is not soccer or track.
No, and it was by far the hardest thing I think I've done in my life. Was
it seems
rowing.
Extremely difficult.
Yes, it's the most it's the most challenging sport I've ever done is rowing. And it's
Do you still row now?
In the gym, but it's more of like, I can do this now.
Whoa.
Yeah, not just by choice.
Not for fun.
Yeah, not for fun.
It's not to do for fun.
Yeah, if the trainer's like, okay, get on the erg, and I'm like, okay, I know how to do this.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Which is so interesting because I am a non-sports girl. Mm-hmm. I am the opposite of you, like 180 degrees. I tried out for track once. I remember the tryout day. And if this coach does not stop fucking telling me what to do.
Yes.
Fucking done. Out. I sat out the rest of the tryouts in the bleachers because I'm like, I'm not listening to you. Don't tell me what. Stop yelling at me. And I'm hot. I'm not going to run.
I'm like the opposite. I'm like, if I don't have to think for like an hour and you can just tell me what I need to do, I'm okay. Because I feel like I have to think everyone else is asking me my opinion. What should I do here? What should I do there? So if you can give me an hour where I don't have to think and you just have to tell me what to do and I get to work out, that's my like golden hour.
Wow. There. Okay. I never considered that. I see that. Mm-hmm. I can see how that's attractive. So you go through college and then after college, was sports still a part of the journey?
Yeah. So sports has always been a part of the journey. So like I said, I rode in college. I also did a lot of just other curricular activities around sports. So I interned with the football team during my time in undergrad. I also we had club sports in undergrad. And so I became one of the site supervisors that supervised all of the managers that would be on site for all these club sports that were partaking. And I was always strategic at the jobs that I got on campus because I was like, okay, it has to make sense. 1, with my schedule. 2, it has to add a benefit to like where I want to go. And 3, it has to like benefit me. So that actually gave you a free gym membership, which I was like, this is great.
This is working.
Yes. So I stopped rowing after my second year. So I had to think about like, okay, how am I? And also, mind you, I'm still struggling. So my parents are like, we're going to help you through as much as we can through college, but you have to find your own way. So the jobs were like, okay, what job will help me get enough for books? Because I had to take a loan out for my tuition, but then what would give me enough for books? And then if I wanted to do stuff with my friends, what could I do? So I was like, I can't afford a gym membership. So this gave me that option. So that was really fun. I got to do it with one of my best friends till today. So all of that kind of curated into my junior year. I was like, Mom, I think I want to continue working in sports. Like I have this vision. And I'm very faith-based. So I'm like, Mom, I think God's calling me to be in like sports. I just don't know. I'm not going to be an athlete, but what does it look like? I don't know. And I was like, maybe sports marketing. And I loved being creative. I loved like coming up with concepts and like those were my favorite projects in school. So I came to her and my mom was like, Mom, there's a opportunity in Europe. And she was like, what? And I was like, yeah, Mom, like, can I study abroad? And she was like, I don't know where you're going to get this money. And my dad ended up making me a deal. And he was like, if you can come up with half of it, I'll take up the loan. I'll take out the loan for the other half. So I was like, okay, I can do this. So that summer I worked 2 jobs just to come up with half. And that was the start to like my career in sports.
What was the opportunity?
To work the European Cup. Yeah, in France. And so I got a certificate from the south of France in Marseille, and it was like sports management. And then the internship program was to work the European Cup while I was out there. And so,
needless to say, you hadn't traveled to Europe before
I had not left home. I had not left home up until this point.
Like traveled beyond.
Yeah, I would travel with like my family because my dad's from New York. We'd go to New York, see family there.
But like overseas, international, new country, different language.
Nothing. Yeah. I was just like.
First time getting your passport.
Yeah. Literally, that is my passport picture to this day.
And you're not there on vacation. You're there to work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. That experience probably changed the game for you?
Changed everything. It changed the way I looked at sports, changed the way that I realized like people and communities gravitated towards athletes and teams and games. And mind you, it was soccer. So it was, for me, a passion of mine that I've played for 15 plus years at this point. So I had a different love for it. I understood the game. I was able to, like, when I was on the sideline, I was like, okay, this is what they're running. You know, I knew the game inside and out. And then from the creative standpoint, I knew how to relate it to the fan zones. I knew how to relate it to the community. It didn't matter where we were, the language barrier, anything like that. And then while I was out there, I was like, well, I might as well just take the risk. And so I backpacked, went to Greece, went to Italy. And it was the first time that I really learned that you have to give up control if you want to experience the moment. And so, yeah, it was by far one of my favorite trips that I've gone on.
And what were you doing there? Like, what was your job?
So I would go to school. My roommate, she was from Australia, and we'd go to school and then they would put different programming. So some days we'd have to go around fan zones and analyze the fan zones. Why did it work? Why didn't it work? It would like, what were our pitches to make it better? Other times it was like, we worked a little bit with the rugby team and like, how do we change, from a like uniform standpoint to like implementation into the community and the market. Every day looked different. And that's when I was like, oh, I think I could probably do something in sports. Like, I really love this.
So it was an opportunity to see the business behind the sport.
Yes.
You've already been the player and understanding that, but now how do we make this game, the sport, a business?
Yes.
That we monetize.
Yes.
And little did you know, probably then that's very much carried over to now.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was different because I was the only American too. So our cohort was made up of a whole bunch of different students all around the world. So I was able to hear all these different perspectives from, one of our girls, she was from Spain. Like I said, my roommate was from Australia. We had another one from Mexico, and it was amazing. And I was just like, wow, like everyone looks at the world so differently when it comes to sports. And again, I was always an athlete. And I think on this trip, there was 2 of us that had been athletes prior. Everyone just loved the community aspect of sports. And I was like, oh, I never thought about that because I've always been on the field. And I've always been the athlete that the entertainment is surrounding around. So it changed the landscape of sports for me, not knowing as it would evolve in the experience. Yeah, then I came back and I was like, okay, I know what I want to do. So I just like locked into that.
So given your unique perspective, what is your take on women in sports? Because when you started, it was not as popular as it is now, which by no means is it as popular as it should be by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
But it's starting to become, Caitlin Clark, blah, blah, blah. Thankful to her that she's put it on the map, and so many other women who are not recognized. What is your just general take on seeing where it was when you started as a player and now being on this side?
I think the biggest thing about it was, like you said, it's still not, the awareness is getting there, but it's not there. Because it took me until, I want to say maybe 6 years ago, where I actually saw a woman of color, a woman, and I always say this, a woman, a mother, and a wife in a position of power in sports.
Wow.
And to me, I'm like, oh my gosh, I've worked, even up to that point, I had worked so hard and I had not seen it. And for me, that is when I was like, that's empowerment, because you're doing all of the roles of a woman at a high level. And so when I'm in this space now, that's what I look for and try to like heighten and be like, no, that girl's killing it. That woman's killing it, because she's not just wearing this hat in a corporate level at the boardroom, but she's going home and she's a wife and she's a mother, and like those are also part of my aspirations that I desire. Like everyone's like, oh my God, you're so successful. I'm like, yeah, in this area. But I look up to these women because they're doing it in all these verticals.
So good. So good. Okay, so let's talk about 16 Sports. What is this concept? Tell me about this. I'm so excited.
Yes, of course. So 16 Sports came about through a bigger umbrella, which is Whaler. So Whaler is a creator agency. They focus on brands. They are the agency of record for brands like Google, Amazon, Microsoft, the NFL, and they take creative concepts and they implement them into the creator economy. And so through this, the founders, Neil and James, they are solution based. So as they're working with these brands, they're like, okay, you know, we're having some loopholes when it comes to like talent management. How can we find the right talent managers and talent that these brands are searching for? So then they created a talent management division where they now rep different creators on the management side. As they continued to evolve, they saw that brands were switching their dollars to entertainment and sports is becoming culture. And how can we create a sports division under the Whaler Group that is helping our brands really get into this economy? And so that is how 16 Sports was birthed. And at the time, I'm just being mentored by Ray and by James and just learning about this economy and like what the creator economy is doing and how much money brands are pouring into this. And coming from an agent, I'm like, it's so crazy how they're not looking at athletes. And I don't understand how athletes are not understanding how to be creators. Then they pose a question of like, well, why don't you become the person that bridges that gap? And I was like, me, I'm like, no one wants to listen to me. I'm like, well, you know, maybe someone else will do it.
So you said no initially.
Yeah, I did say no, actually.
Why?
I was scared. And
Why? Why were you scared?
I think I was scared because I was like, I didn't feel like I had done enough in my career at that point.
Imposter syndrome.
Yes. I had felt like I had not done enough in my career to get that type of position and power to create something. And me and Ray talk about it all the time now. He was like, do you remember that? I was like, yes, I remember that. And I was like, I remember I worked 10 times harder during those next couple of years to achieve all these accolades that would give me the validation that I was worth that opportunity. And I was like, not knowing God would bring that opportunity to me again.
Wow.
And when he did, I was like,
still didn't feel it.
And I was like, Mom, I was like, I got to take this. She was like, yes, you do. So I took the leap and I was like, you know what? We're going to build this out. We're going to teach the next generation of athletes to be creators. And we're going to give them not just the resources and tools, but we're going to provide them the education and the curriculum so that starting from high school, transitioning into college, transitioning to the pros, that they have this knowledge of how it is to be a brand. Because I was like, we all get into the corporate world and we don't, like, it was news to me. I was like, oh, this will happen in the corporate world. Like, you could do all the education, you can do all the, you know, informational interviews, all of that, but you don't know until you experience it.
Absolutely.
And so I was like, if we can build something to teach these athletes to be entrepreneurs when they're high schoolers and look at themselves as I'm Google, I'm Apple. How does Apple and Google become successful? How do I become successful? Then I'm making the impact. Because this is one thing I will always say to Ray is, if I'm not changing people's lives, if I'm not bettering them, then I don't need to be in that position.
Then I'm not interested.
Yes. So,
oh my gosh.
That's kind of how it all.
So how I understand it as a civilian layperson, you're essentially teaching them, you're equalizing the playing field in that you're educating them to take themselves out of being the person and see themselves as the brand. So teaching them business school, which nobody teaches you how to run a business. No one teaches lawyers how to run a law firm as a business. We can lawyer. How the hell do you run the business? Same for athletes. They can play, they can excel, they can get the accolades, but then what? Like, why are they not monetizing and harnessing the brand that they're creating?
Absolutely. And it goes back to like, no one teaches you, just like you said, underline, no one teaches you how to be an entrepreneur. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, like, you know, growing up, oh, you're so business minded. You're so this, you're so that, you're a leader. But no one tells you or gives you the script to be an entrepreneur because there is no script. There is a characteristic.
That's it.
And that is what I was like, athletes are missing that component.
Right.
They have the discipline. They have the dedication.
The talent.
They have the talent, but they have the reliance on everyone else. And so how do you start to give them their confidence back?
And recapturing that, the equity.
Absolutely.
Instead of outsourcing it, they now are the brains
Right.
and they're involved, so they don't have to outsource and blow their money, and they don't even know what they're blowing it on.
Exactly. I'm like, oh, this person does that. That person does
Don't
this.
need 'em.
It's like, you could do it too. But it's like you just said, recapturing that confidence so that they know they can do it. But then also they are the CEO of their own company.
Oh my gosh.
So
Wow.
that's what we're doing.
And truly, like, putting the power and the ability to create wealth in the hands of the talent, which,
Yes.
as we know the system to be, is outside.
Yes.
Because, and I think, and we all know it, the industry, the game has preyed on the fact that people have been ignorant to it.
Yes.
But now you're creating through this platform this incredible tool that puts the power and ability and agency back into the talent's hand.
Yes.
That
Yeah, it's challenging though. It's
of course it is.
It's very challenging.
You're breaking
but-
the narrative. It has to be challenging.
Yeah, no, and you're breaking the narrative. And it's like, you know, I've been on the agency side and I've been very blessed and grateful to work with some of the best agents in the game. And I've learned from them and I'm like, wow, this is incredible. And even then I'm like, but there's still something missing. And so, you know, when I had made the change, I had told both of them, like, I'm so grateful for you all, but I have to take this leap because if it works, amazing. I get to change more lives. And if it doesn't work, I know I can always come back to be an agent. I know that I'm good. I was like, there's a lot of people can't say they had a first rounder in their first 2 years of recruiting or even being an agent. I had a first rounder by the age of 28. I was one of the first Hispanics to do it that young. And I was like, and doing it, I was like, oh, well, you know, and I remember on draft, I still didn't believe it. I was like, Mom, it feels weird. And she was like, okay. She was like, Alexis, do you know how hard you just worked on this? I was like, yeah, I did. So then I realized, I was like, okay, I need to chase something different. So that's when I had to like look even deeper into myself and say, God, like, what is my purpose? Like, why have you placed me around these athletes? How am I supposed to help them? How am I supposed to change their lives in a meaningful way that is generational, not just transactional?
I mean, it is just so wonderful because what you and Ray and the team are doing now, you are truly, and you said it, changing generational wealth, generational trajectory. You are going to change the lives not only of the athlete, but their children, and then the people they're helping who are aging in their families. It's going to be a different experience altogether.
Because when you think about it, you're just bringing, and I always say this back to our communities, but like you're bringing value back into our communities. And it's been lost because we've been part of a system that the system doesn't work for us.
Nope.
So then
it takes from us.
Exactly. It takes from us and we're part of the system for it to work. Because without us, there is no system.
No.
But with that, it's also taking value. So then you get into like, even, you know, love my parents, but they were like, you know, find this job. Like, why do you, like, it was a challenge of like, why do you want to leave? You have a great job. You've been here. Like, it's a great company.
Security.
Yeah. And I'm like, but I'm not doing enough.
Wow.
And so that is, I think, one of my biggest core values of like what I'm building is I want people to feel valued and know they have value in building what their IP back. Can I capture it back all? And how can I value myself so that I then can teach my kids? And then now we're truly changing that generational wealth.
Okay, well, bravo to your mom.
Yes.
Because she ain't saying sorry anymore. I'll tell you that right now. So, Mom, it worked.
It did.
This girl, she is doing it. And again, I'm not a sports person, but on behalf of just the community and women and just people who have been disenfranchised and truly, like we were saying, taken from and not given an opportunity to have an equal playing field. Thank you for what you're doing. And I know it's difficult and it will continue to be difficult because breaking down a concrete wall requires a lot of work and it hurts and it's scary and it's hard. Sometimes you're like, I don't think this wall's going to break. But girl, you're breaking it.
Thank you.
You are. And I'm here to support you. Like, I love this. Like,
Yes.
I've never talked about sports more in my life. This is it. Am I an official sports commentator?
Yes. Now we have to go to games.
I think this is official.
We're going to get you a jersey and all.
Oh, yay. Okay. But anyways, I would love to have you back and get an update on how everything's going and even get some of the talent here. Let's get some athletes here.
Definitely.
Let's showcase their brands. Let's let them, do what they've got to do and keep empowering.
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, I appreciate you, my friend. And we're going to put contact information in the bottom.
Yes.
How you can reach 16 Sports. Reach out to Alexis. Clearly an example. Representation matters. She's doing it. She is a woman in sports, leading sports, changing the world, and literally changing the game. So thank you, friend.
Of course.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.